Three kids build a spaceship in their backyard from a tilt-a-whirl, junkyard scraps, and a circuit board one of them saw in a dream. They blast off into space, meet aliens who learned everything about Earth from watching old TV shows, and return home before their parents notice they're gone. Explorers had everything. Steven Spielberg's protege, Joe Dante, directing, young Ethan Hawke in his film debut, River Phoenix before he became a legend, and Industrial Light and Magic creating the effects. Paramount gave it summer 1985 release slot expecting their E.T. competitor. Instead, the film opened unfinished. Dante was still editing when the studio forced it into theaters, cutting his planned ending and releasing a movie that literally wasn't done. It bombed spectacularly, made $9.9 million domestic, disappeared within weeks, and became the cautionary tale about studio interference destroying promising films. But something unexpected happened. Kids who saw it on cable and VHS became filmmakers, scientists, and dreamers who cite Explorers as the movie that changed their lives. The film that failed in theaters became the cult classic that inspired a generation. This is how Paramount killed Joe Dante's masterpiece before anyone got to see what it could have been. Joe Dante came to Explorers fresh off Gremlin's massive success, given creative freedom and decent budget to make personal film about childhood wonder and imagination. The script by Eric Luke captured something rare, authentic kid perspective without adult condescension. These weren't miniature adults spouting precocious dialogue. They were actual children stumbling through adventure, making mistakes, getting scared, being brave anyway. The film's structure was deliberately unconventional. First hour is grounded science fiction about boys building working spacecraft from junk. Ben Crandall dreams of circuit board designs that shouldn't be possible. Wolfgang Müller, the science whiz, translates those dreams into actual technology. Darren Woods provides muscle and enthusiasm. Together, they create something impossible in Wolfgang's backyard, while parents remain oblivious. The spaceship itself, the Thunder Road, named after Bruce Springsteen's song, was practical marvel. Production designer Robert Boyle built actual tilt-a-whirl carnival ride into functional spacecraft set, complete with Christmas lights, duct tape, and carnival aesthetic that felt genuinely kid-built rather than Hollywood polished. When the boys first achieve flight, the excitement feels earned because we've watched them construct every piece. ILM's effects work was groundbreaking for 1985. The force field bubble surrounding Thunder Road, the zero-gravity sequences, the alien ship design, all practical effects and careful compositing that holds up decades later. The dream sequences featuring swirling patterns and cosmic visions influenced visual effects work throughout the late 1980s. But the film's most radical choice came in its final third. The aliens aren't wise beings or terrifying monsters. They're kids too. Wak and Neek learned everything about Earth from intercepted television broadcasts, speaking entirely in TV show quotes and commercial jingles. They're as confused about first contact as the human children, turning expected alien encounter into something stranger and more wonderful. This tonal shift from science fiction adventure to absurdist comedy divided audiences. People expecting straightforward kids' movie got philosophical meditation on media, imagination, and whether the dreams we chase match reality we find. Paramount executives panicked, demanding Dante finish editing faster and get the film into theaters before summer competition destroyed it. Ethan Hawke's film debut as Ben Crandall showcased instincts that would define his career, playing dreamers who can't quite articulate what they're searching for. Hawke was 14, bringing genuine adolescent awkwardness to a character obsessed with 1950s, science fiction, and space exploration. His Ben wasn't cool or confident. He was nerdy kid with vivid imagination who happens to receive actual alien contact through his dreams. River Phoenix as Wolfgang Müller delivered performance that hinted at the talent Hollywood would lose too soon. Phoenix made Wolfgang brilliant without being insufferable, a science prodigy who genuinely loves learning rather than showing off. The chemistry between Hawk and Phoenix felt authentic. Two smart kids who'd be outcasts separately, but find strength together. Jason Presson as Darren Woods provided working-class perspective, the tough kid from broken home who finds escape through adventure with friends. Presson's performance grounded the fantasy, reminding audiences that some kids need dreams because reality offers little hope. Amanda Peterson as Lori Swenson, Ben's crush, got underwritten role but created believable teenage romance through genuine awkwardness. Her scenes with Hawk captured adolescent longing perfectly. Kids who don't know how to talk to each other but try anyway. Robert Picardo and Leslie Rickert voiced the aliens Wok and Neek, delivering manic performances built entirely from television references. Picardo's Wok quotes everything from commercials to Leave It to Beaver, creating alien character unlike anything audiences had seen. The choice to make aliens as confused and enthusiastic as human kids was brilliant. First contact is mutual bewilderment rather than one-sided wonder. Dick Miller's brief appearance as police officer became cult favorite moment. Miller, Dante's good luck charm appearing in nearly every film, brought working-class skepticism that made the kids' adventure feel more real by contrast. The young cast carried the film's emotional weight, selling wonder and fear and excitement without ever winking at the camera. They believed in the adventure, which made audiences believe too. Production began in 1984 with optimism and creative freedom Joe Dante had earned through Gremlin's success. The Thunder Road spaceship was built as fully functional set at Paramount, the tilt-a-whirl mechanism actually working, creating genuine motion that affected the young actors' performances. When Ethan Hawke and River Phoenix react to zero gravity, they're responding to actual movement, rather than pretending on stationary soundstage. The dream sequences required innovative optical effects. Ben's visions of circuit boards and cosmic patterns were created through combination of animation and practical photography, ILM pushing boundaries of what visual effects could convey about subconscious experience. These sequences took months to perfect, intricate work that Paramount would later refuse to give proper time. The alien ship interior was designed by Ron Cobb, legendary concept artist behind Alien and Star Wars. Cobb created an environment that felt organic yet technological, using unconventional materials and lighting to suggest truly alien intelligence. The set was practical construction enhanced by minimal effects work, giving actors something tangible to react against. Filming with child actors presented unique challenges. Dante worked around school schedules and labor laws limiting hours minors could work. The production shot out of sequence, requiring young performers to maintain emotional continuity across weeks of scattered filming. Phoenix and Hawk developed genuine friendship that enhanced their on-screen chemistry. Then Paramount panicked. Competing summer releases, Back to the Future, The Goonies, Cocoon, made executives fear Explorers would get buried. They demanded Dante deliver Final Cut months earlier than planned. The director was still editing when the studio pulled the film from his hands and dumped it into theaters incomplete. The ending Dante envisioned, a longer sequence exploring the alien ship and deeper philosophical conversation between kids and aliens, never got filmed. What audiences saw was truncated version that felt rushed and unsatisfying. The tonal shift jarring because there wasn't time to properly develop it. Why it failed? Disappointed, July 12th, 1985. Explorers opened against established hits and better marketed competition. Back to the Future was dominating theaters in its fourth weekend. The Goonies had already become summer's kid-friendly phenomenon. European Vacation and Cocoon were pulling family audiences. Explorers arrived with minimal marketing and reviews that couldn't decide what it was supposed to be. Critics were confused. Roger Ebert gave it 2 stars, writing, "It's as if they had a terrific first act and nobody knew how to write the second or third." Variety called it erratic and unsatisfying, as if key scenes were missing. They were right. Key scenes were missing Because Paramount released unfinished film over Dante's objections. Opening weekend brought just $3 million. By end of theatrical run, domestic gross reached $9.9 million, catastrophic for film Paramount had positioned as summer tentpole. The studio pulled it from theaters after 3 weeks, cutting losses and abandoning any promotional support. Audiences who actually saw it were divided. Kids loved the adventure and the weird aliens. Adults expected Spielbergian wonder and got something stranger, less polished, deliberately rough around edges. The tonal shift from grounded science fiction to absurdist comedy alienated viewers expecting consistent experience. The rushed ending became film's biggest liability. After building tension and wonder through careful pacing, the alien encounter felt anticlimactic. Wok and Neek's TV speak was either brilliantly subversive commentary on media consumption or annoying distraction, depending on viewer expectations. Without proper development time, the philosophical questions raised about dreams versus reality, media versus authentic experience, felt half-formed rather than profound. Paramount learned wrong lesson. Instead of recognizing that releasing unfinished film guaranteed failure, they blamed Joe Dante's vision as too weird for mainstream audiences. The director's reputation took hit that affected his career for years. The film that should have been Dante's E.T. became his biggest commercial disappointment, remembered mainly as the movie Paramount destroyed before giving it a chance. Legacy and modern context. Explorers died in theaters and came back to life on cable television and home video. Throughout late 1980s and 1990s, kids discovered it on HBO, Showtime, and VHS rental, watching it repeatedly until dialogue became quotable and Thunder Road became iconic. The generation that found it this way includes filmmakers, scientists, and artists who cite explorers as formative influence. J.J. Abrams mentioned it as inspiration for Super 8, his own film about kids making movies and encountering the extraordinary. The DIY aesthetic of Thunder Road, kids building impossible technology from available materials, influenced maker culture and STEM education approaches. The idea that children could engineer actual spacecraft from junkyard parts made science feel accessible rather than intimidating. The film's media criticism feels more relevant now than 1985. Wok and Neek, learning about Earth entirely through television, predicted how internet and social media shape understanding of reality. When aliens can only communicate through commercial jingles and TV quotes, Dante was warning about media saturation decades before streaming and smartphones made it inescapable. Modern viewers appreciate what Paramount executives rejected: the film's refusal to provide easy answers or conventional satisfaction. The ending's abruptness, once seen as failure, now reads as intentional rejection of Hollywood formula. The aliens aren't wise teachers or dangerous threats. They're just other beings as confused about existence as we are. The cult following grew strong enough that Paramount finally released proper DVD and Blu-ray editions with Dante's commentary explaining what the film could have been. Fan communities keep it alive through appreciation posts, anniversary screenings, and introducing it to new generations who discover that imagination matters more than budget. Explorers asked whether the dreams we chase match reality we find, and its own history became perfect answer. The film that failed commercially succeeded artistically. The movie Paramount destroyed became the cult classic that inspired thousands of kids to build, dream, and explore. Joe Dante made a film about imagination's power, and watching it still feels like discovering secret transmission from childhood wonder. The Thunder Road might have been built from junk, but it flew anyway, which is the point. Did you discover Explorers in theaters or years later on cable? Does it deserve recognition alongside E.T. and Goonies as defining 1980s kids' adventure? Should someone attempt a remake, or is the original's imperfection part of its charm? Share your thoughts in comments, and if you want more explorations of films that deserved better, hit subscribe. All systems go.